Senate File 2898 is moved, and Senator Housley, do you have amendments, authors
do.
amendments here today?
I have a delete all amendment, Madam Chair. Oh, no, it's just the A1 amendment.
Senator Housley, I have the A1 amendment.
It's the A1 amendment, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right, members, Senator Grand moves the A1 amendment to 2898. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion prevails and is adopted. So, Senator Housley, to your bill as amended.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Senate File 2898 is a bill that exempts simple hairstyling, washing, drying, arranging, and styling hair and makeup artistry from the cosmetology licensing. Oh, I thought you were going to ask me a question.
No, Senator
You look like you're ready to ask a question. This bill addresses a problem that many special event hair and makeup artists face in Minnesota because of the way the Cosmetology Board interprets its rules exempting certain beauty services from the cosmetology licensing. There are hundreds of special event hair and makeup artists in Minnesota. Many artists have spent years building successful businesses, and most of these businesses are women-owned. Artists provide bridal hair and makeup services to brides and wedding parties at wedding venues. They also provide hair and makeup services for commercials, film, theater, and other commercial productions. Bridal hair and makeup is usually their most profitable service. By rule, the Minnesota Cosmetology Board exempts beauty services for fashion, film, media, photography, and at retail makeup counters. Special event hair and makeup artists who work in these areas do not need a cosmetology license. So an example of that, if Christina is doing makeup at the MAC makeup counter in Nordstrom's. When you walk into Nordstrom's, you can see the MAC makeup counter. Christina would not need to have a full-on cosmetology license to apply makeup at the MAC counter. But if she wants to do somebody's wedding, Christina would now have to, the way the Cosmetology Board is interpreting the rule, she would have to have a full-on cosmetology license of 2,700 hours of school. For years, bridal hair and makeup artists believed that they were legally providing their services under the Cosmetology Board's exemption for beauty services for photography, but the board has made it clear that the bridal hair and makeup artists are not exempt and are required to comply with licensing requirements and to obtain a special event permit. Another scenario would be if Christina is applying the makeup for a bride on her wedding day for photos and for the wedding. She would need the cosmetology license, but if she were doing a model who is posing as a bride for Brides Magazine, she would not need the license. These licensing requirements are burdensome. Minnesota requires 2 licenses plus a special event permit for them to work. To comply with these requirements, many artists would have to stop working, close their businesses, and spend between $10,000 and $20,000 receiving cosmetology training. Minnesota requires 1,550 hours of cosmetology training for simple hairstyling and makeup, or 600 hours for only makeup. Minnesota also requires artists to pass 4 exams and become a salon manager. Again, this is just to do simple hair, no cutting, no chemicals, no cuts, just styling. Minnesota also requires for 4 exams and become a salon manager. Until this last month, the board additionally required artists to spend 2,700 hours working in a cosmetology salon, which usually took an additional 2 to 3 years for artists to complete. Finally, the state requires artists to obtain a special event permit and to register every wedding or event where they work at least 48 hours before the event. The cosmetology curriculum is geared toward providing haircuts, color, using chemicals, doing facials, skincare, waxing, and nails. And very little time in that cosmetology curriculum is spent on the services provided by special event hair and makeup that these artists do. Right now, the constitutionality of the board's different treatment of artists who provide their service for weddings is being challenged by a group of bridal hair and makeup artists in court. They are also challenging the board's application of the cosmetology licensing requirements to bridal hair and makeup artists. The bill will ensure that all artists in Minnesota who provide simple hairstyling and makeup will be treated equally. It exempts these services because artists are already safely providing these services in the state without any regulation. I ask for your support to help protect these entrepreneurs and small businesswomen who make an important contribution to our state. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Senator Housley. We have quite a list, members, of testifiers, so I'd like to get to those, considering the time right now. So, Senator Housley, you have two people with you right now. Do you want to start with them, right?
I will have Christina Zimmer, a constituent of mine, and owner of Christina Zimmer Beauty, go first.
Okay, you're going to be limited here to about 2 minutes at max. So if you have a 5-minute, you're going to have to kind of cut it short, okay?
All right, sounds good.
Ms. Zimmer, right? Zimmer?
Ms. Zimmer, yes.
Okay, good. Go ahead, but say your name and title for the record.
Yes. Madam Chair and members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to testify today in support of SF2898. My name is Christina Zimmer, and I'm the owner of Christina Zimmer Beauty. I've been a small business owner for the last 4 years and have been doing makeup and hairstyling for the last 12 years. I would like to share how current laws affect my business, my life, and the lives of 1,000 other artists. I've always known that makeup artistry and a career in beauty was what I wanted to do, and I've never seen myself having a different career path. When someone introduced me to the world of freelance special event hair and makeup, I instantly fell in love and I never looked back. I honed my craft over the last 12 years as a special event hair and makeup artist, and now bridal clients are about 80% of my business. I specialize in special event hairstyling and makeup. I don't cut hair, I don't color hair, I don't chemically alter hair, I don't perform facials, I don't wax, and I don't apply chemicals to the skin. Bridal hair and makeup is my bread and butter. The majority of my clients who book me are through word of mouth and referrals. I work hard to hold myself to the highest safety standards. I sanitize my kit and my products, and I use different brushes on every client and wash my hands in between each service. I come prepared for every job. My reputation is something I'm incredibly proud of. I have brides who book me 2 years out from their wedding date, and I've done this unlicensed along with hundreds of others. The Cosmetology Board has decided that in order for special event hairstylists and makeup artists like myself to continue working, like Senator Housley mentioned, we would need to go to cosmetology school and complete thousands of hours of training. We have always thought we were exempt from the cosmetology licensing requirements because we provide services for photography. But the board wants us to become licensed cosmetologists and estheticians. I've done photo shoots for fake brides using models, and in that situation, that's completely legal for me to do. But somehow applying makeup to a real bride on her wedding day in the same venue suddenly makes me a criminal. These real brides have been featured along the same ones, along with the fake ones inside the same magazine publications. We also need to get the special event permit, which requires us to first become salon managers, pass the salon manager's test, and then register every event with the board 48 hours prior to the event. This room is filled with capable, talented, and intelligent business owners, all behind me here. This is how we put food on the table for our families. This is how we pay our mortgages. This is how we pay for our children's piano lessons and soccer camps. These overreaching laws affect primarily women and minority-owned businesses. Starting over would cause insurmountable strain to my family and so many others. It's something that I or we cannot afford to do. I'm risking everything to stand before you today and give my testimony. I'm risking my career and my business and how I financially provide for my family. My career as a makeup artist is part of who I am. I feel as though a piece of me would be missing if I didn't have that. My hope is my testimony will help save my business and the businesses of countless women. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story, and I ask you to support SF2898.
Thank you, Ms. Zimmer.
Madam Chair, I think I will have Megan Forbes here just to answer questions for later, and I'll just continue with the testifiers, if that's okay.
Yes, that is okay.
Amy Reed and Debbie Carlson.
Again, state your name for the record.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. Thank you for the opportunity to testify in support
Can you
of...
please go closer to the microphone?
sorry.
They're very, have to be right on it. Remember, keep it short here.
Okay, got it.
I've got the timer, Madam
Thank
Chair.
you for the opportunity to testify today in support of Senate File 2898. My name is Amy Reed. I'm the owner of Amy Marie Artistry, a registered LLC in the state of Minnesota. I'm a freelance makeup artist and blessed that this career supports myself and my 3 children. They say do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life. That's me. The consumer demand for bridal hair and makeup has kept me and thousands of others busy. While on-site bridal services have boomed, the BCE wants to stake their claim by finding and shutting down businesses like mine. The BCE has made an example of other successful artists to scare us into cosmetology and aesthetics programs. This was done by reinterpreting their own rules to capitalize on our success by cherry-picking the bridal industry as their jurisdiction. Makeup artists have been serving brides in Minnesota for over 40 years without any regulation. This is greed on their part, as they're not interested in any of the other makeup facets I work in. I work for many Minnesota companies such as Polaris, Medtronic, MyTalk 107, and several production and photography companies. I prepare CEOs for corporate internal videos, take care of talent for product videos and commercials, work on feature films, senior pictures, runway shows, plus many more. Outside of Minnesota, I have worked for Ford, Honda, and the Super Bowl. I most recently was contracted by NBC to prep Joe Biden's hair and makeup for a live TV broadcast. The BCE does not require a license for any of these services. They are all unregulated. I ask why can I do the hair and makeup for the former vice president, but I'm not able to put lipstick on the bride in the state of Minnesota. The BCE isn't interested in any of my other clients outside of bridal. They're not interested in the Clinique counter at Nordstrom's or the Mary Kay lady out selling her product. They want a stake in the $70 billion wedding industry by putting their restrictive regulations on hardworking people like me. I've built an extensive resume, and I did that because of me. My reputation in business is successful without a piece of paper that costs $20,000 and hundreds of irrelevant hours of training. Thousands of artists, mostly women-owned small businesses, are being stripped of wages, entrepreneurship, and rights. A lot of these women are single-income mothers who rely on this career to provide for themselves like me. Last year, I worked on 29 weddings. Out of fear, I have removed my bridal work and pricing from my website and social media accounts. Please support Senate File 2898 to remove the gross overreach by the BCE. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Reed. Well done. Welcome to the committee. State your name for the record.
Thank you. Madam Chair and the committee, my name is Debbie Carlson.
Lean right in.
Can you hear me? Thank you for allowing me to testify today on Bill SF2898. I am the founder of Faces Etc. of Minnesota, a licensed post-secondary career school for makeup artistry. In my 40-year career, I have been blessed to be a part of both the makeup artist community and the licensed beauty professionals. I have held all 5 beauty licenses related to the cosmetology industry, from cosmetology manager, salon owner, school manager, and instructor. Unfortunately, cosmetology offers very little training that is relevant to the freelance world that we work in. So I opened Faces Etc. in 2007 at the request of many students who were in the cosmetology programs and felt that the makeup education was lacking. The BCE's sudden interpretation of the rules regarding bridal hair and makeup has turned my business upside down. My alumni have long relied on bridal hair and makeup to supplement their income when Hollywood jobs and commercial shoots are not available in Minnesota. Since the board began regulating bridal hair and makeup in 2018, there has been a significant drop in my school's enrollments. The BCE's ruling has totally disrupted my business model that my school was created on. According to the BCE, there are only 37 licensed event permit holders in the state of Minnesota. That's 37 cosmetology people or estheticians out of the nearly 4,000 licensed professionals in the state of Minnesota that are legally able at this point to be working in that bridal industry. It's very disheartening that the BCE is trying to monopolize bridal hair and the makeup industry as a gross overreach, and it should be stopped. Please support this bill, SF2898, to keep our makeup artists working in the bridal community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much, Ms. Carlson. Would,
Yes, Jessica.
could you have your next testifier come up? Oh, no, after that. Do you have another one after?
Yeah, she's right here. This one, yeah, then there's one more, yep. So
Okay.
go ahead, Jessica, and I'll get the next one up.
Yeah, we'll just get them up and then. Go
Good
ahead.
afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Jessica May Koza. Thank you for hearing us today. I'm here to support Senate File 2898, and I hope you will too. I have been working legally as a makeup artist for 14 years, a career I knew I wanted for as long as I can remember. Ask my mom, she'll be honest and tell you. In 2013, my husband Sam and I founded War Paints International Beauty Agency here in Minneapolis. We specialize in on-site special event hair and makeup and contract dozens of freelancers. As stated in the Board of Cosmetology's rules and regulations, makeup application and hairstyling is unregulated when done for theatrical, television, film, fashion, photography, or media productions or media appearances. All these years, we believed we were working under the photography exemption. In 2018, the Board of Cosmetology reinterpreted photography, carving out only special events like weddings, which makes what I do at WPI and what I've done for 14 years suddenly illegal, and this is what brings us here today. I want to make it crystal clear. We are not looking to deregulate cosmetology or esthetician licensing. We simply want to keep working in what we have always done. The BCE and its affiliates are trying to make this a safety and sanitation issue, but that's not what it's about. How can I do someone's makeup and hair on any given day for a photo shoot, TV appearance, or runway show, but not on their wedding day, or for any other special event? Or worse yet, provide services at a wedding for free, but the second the bride pays me, I am now a criminal. This is absurd and needs to change immediately. Due to this issue, I firmly believe that the BCE could care less about the safety and sanitation of Minnesotans. Instead, they care more about lining their own pockets and attacking small business owners with the fear of being fined for work we have done for years. Since inception, my company has paid out nearly 7 figures in payroll to our team. This income has enabled these individuals to pay off debt, save for their children's education, save for their dream home, retirement, and has even sustained some through financial hardships. To say that I am proud of what we've built is an understatement. Sam and I have worked tirelessly, sometimes 100 hours a week or more, to build this successful business. It would be devastating to lose what we've worked so hard to build. We pay our taxes, we have the proper insurance, which I want to state for the record, there's been some whispers that unlicensed professionals cannot get liability insurance, and that is completely false. We have background check our team. We technically test them to ensure safety and sanitation of our clients. Safety is one of our core values and is taken very seriously. This issue reaches far beyond myself and the artists that would be displaced if Senate File 2898 does not pass. If this industry ceases to exist, it will not only disrupt special event hair and makeup artists, but an entire ecosystem of photographers, wedding planners, wedding venues, and thousands of others. Please support SF2898. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Ms. Koza. Next testifier.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee, for your time and for allowing all of us to testify in support of Senate File 2898. My name is Melanie Rivers. I'm from St. Paul, and I've been an on-site freelance hair and makeup artist for 8 years. I've also been a licensed cosmetologist for 7 years. I provide hair and makeup services for major commercial brands in both TV and print, celebrities, political figures, and also for special events including weddings, proms, galas, and charity events. As one of many licensed artists in the freelance industry, I wanted to speak on just a few reasons why cosmetology or esthetology school has no real relevance or benefit to our work as freelance artists. My 1,550-hour cosmetology program only contained very minimal education in makeup and upstyling and was a very small fraction of the training in the skills I use every day as a freelance artist. Just a side note, there were no makeup tools or products in my professional kit that I received in school. By the time I have finished paying off my student loans, I will have paid over $40,000 for an 18-month program. I personally know of at least 4 freelance artists, myself included, who attended cosmetology or esthetology school and were asked to teach the makeup portion of their curriculum. I had already graduated at this point, and I was told I would not be compensated because I didn't have an instructor's license, so I would have to teach for free. The other 3 artists that I know were actually currently enrolled in their programs at the time. So if my question, I guess, is if a cosmetology or osteology education is necessary for freelancers, then why are freelancers the ones providing that education? In regards to client safety and proper sanitation, a license does not guarantee a safe work environment. I currently work in a salon with licensed cosmetologists who have manager's licenses and have zero regard for client safety or sanitation. The responsibility is ultimately up to the individual operator in every area. Most of the freelance artists that I know understand that our success in this industry is related to not just our technical abilities, but also our standards of professionalism. This is our reputations on the line. If the Board of Cosmetology was truly concerned with client safety, they would regulate hair and makeup services in every area of the industry, not just special events. They would not exempt artists who work for fashion, film, media, photography, or public retail makeup counters. We provide the same kind of services in every area, whether it's for a local news station or a high schooler attending prom. The products we work with are not dangerous and can be purchased and used by any consumer. If the BCE was truly concerned with safety, they would also regulate services regardless of compensation, like Jessica said. According to the BCE, only paid events are subject to regulation. If I choose to do my cousin's wedding free of charge, I'm in compliance with state laws and rules. In that regard, it is evident that client safety is not their top priority. In summary, the inconsistent regulation by the BCE is not in the best interest of clients, artists, or thousands of other beauty industry-related businesses across the state of Minnesota. Please join us in supporting this bill, and please help protect the jobs of freelance artists in our communities. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time here today. Senator Housley, you have one more, and then we're going to go to Mr. Hurst and Ms. Otten.
Madam Chair, it's Kayla Van der Zeile.
Welcome.
Thank you. Madam Chair, members of the committee, thank you for your time today. I'll keep this short.
Lean right into, we want to hear you, so lean.
Okay.
I know.
Thank you for your time today. I'll keep this short. So I have been,
Can you give us your name?
I'm Kayla Van der Zeile. I've been a small business owner for 4 years, and I've been a licensed cosmetologist for over 10 years. I've worked in a licensed salon for the last 9, and I've had my manager's license as soon as I was able at 2,700 hours. So it's been about 7 years that I held a manager's license. By year 6 of working behind the chair, it was taking a toll on my body, and I knew I wouldn't be able to stay in this profession much longer. I didn't have a career path to take me 20, 30 years down the road. I was terrified. I didn't know what to do. And with my biggest passion always being hairstyling, I found the freelance wedding industry with the ladies behind me, along with hundreds and others. I was so grateful I got to keep doing what I loved, and I have no desire to work in a salon offering cuts and colors again. It's not my passion, and I'm still having to keep up with my license. It's costing me hundreds of unnecessary dollars. For the last 4 years that I have been working alongside these unlicensed freelance artists, I've learned more about makeup sanitation and safety from them than I ever learned in beauty school. I've learned more from them than I learned at inside a licensed salon. So these ladies have the passion, drive, and talent that I look for in an artist when contracting out work through my business. The hardest challenge I face is finding licensed cosmetologists interested in working weddings on a Saturday. If this bill does not pass, I won't be able to offer makeup services for my business since I do not personally practice makeup. I will no longer be able to contract out the services to the makeup artists I trust to work alongside me. Makeup is 50% of my business, and I will be losing tens of thousands of dollars, and I will no longer be able to financially support myself just through the wedding industry. I believe that the BCE is overreaching here, and I understand the importance of licensing cosmetology because I held those standards for 10 years in a salon. I see them overreaching here in the special event hair and makeup services. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time. Thank you for coming today. Mr. Hurst and Ms. Otten. And for the record, I know you know this well, but
Thank you, Madam Chairman and committee members. I recognize time is short. I will be as brief as I can to submit the following into the record. First of all, I'm Jim Hurst. I'm here today on behalf of the Salon and Spa Professional Association, a Minnesota trade association that was established in 1924, long before the existence of the BCE or any state board of cosmetology in the state of Minnesota. We certainly are not an affiliate of the BCE. We do not represent the state board in any shape, way, or manner, but rather we represent all of the licensed professionals in this state. We have concerns with Senator Housley's bill, and there's a letter submitted to the committee. It is reflecting as the bill was introduced, and I do appreciate the A1 amendment that removes eyelash extensions from the bill from being unregulated. Excuse me. However, I think eyelash extensions is something that we should take a look at very closely, because that was a new law that was passed just 3 or 4 years ago, and it set up a model for how to deal with a certain segment of cosmetology, which is basically what we're facing with here today. We have a group of practitioners that only want to practice in one certain area, makeup artistry, excuse me, or simple hairstyling. And we had the same issue with eyelash extensions just 3-4 years ago. The solution was, okay, let's take those individuals, grandfather in the existing, and get them a specialty license so they can continue practicing, and set up the process for future ones who wanted to do this as well. By the same token, that's appropriate for what we're looking at today. Cosmetology is an evolving practice. It used to be only offered in a brick and mortar type structure, but now it's in more mobile settings. And I see Senator Rest here, and just a few years ago, we did a mobile salon special legislation just for that. So, but the answer to this is not complete unregulation. It's true, we have very serious concerns for health, safety, sanitation, and infection control measures that do apply in these cases. And I commend the testifiers who are abiding by this. But if we completely unregulate this, there's no guarantee that others in the future will be doing the same thing. And so by that token, I would strongly suggest that as this bill moves forward, we take a look at making sure that we also take care of that, of those aspects of this profession as well. And with that, Madam Chair, I will conclude, excuse me, and I'd like to defer to the other testifier who I have joining me today.
Thank you, Mr. Hurst. Ms. Otten?
Absolutely. My name is Debra Smoker Otten. I actually hold my APE instructor and manager's license here in the state of Minnesota. And, you know, I came in today, and I really have to say one thing first. Personally speaking, deregulation would be completely unacceptable. I completely agree with Mr. Hurst saying, you know, looking at the eyelash industry, the way it's been coming forward over the last several years, and just what it has, the licensing that stands behind it now is acceptable. As an instructor, I have taught the core health, safety.
Ms. Otten, before you go further.
Yes.
The eyelash extensions have been removed from this bill.
I'm referring to the eyelash licensing that is currently in place. The 30 hours that they have to take, and then the continuing education.
Okay, I just want to be sure you're addressing this bill here.
Oh, absolutely. But deregulation would be completely unacceptable. Frankly, I've witnessed at weddings that I've attended, makeup artists that were hired to work at the weddings using the same brushes, the same makeup pots without using the correct way of applying makeup. I attended St. Paul College and the estheology schooling, and that's where I learned how to correctly apply makeup, not using the same brush on 5, 6, and 7 different people. Infection control obviously is at the forefront of this challenge that we're having right now. And moving forward, sadly, I've also witnessed makeup artists not cleansing their hands in between guests. I've seen it. Again, infection control is at the forefront. Deregulation should not be acceptable. Complete deregulation. Putting something in place that we could have continuing education for the makeup artists and the simple hairstylists out there so they remain up to date on the laws and rules and what's going on in the state of Minnesota would be amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Naughton. I have a question for you. Are you saying that you are guaranteeing that 100% of the salons today always 100% do all the hand washing and the other things that you've mentioned just now?
I don't think anybody can say 100%.
That's my point. Thank you, Ms. Naughton. Senator Housley, we have a hard stop at 2:30 because the Senate goes into session, and there's a rule that says we can't be meeting at the same time as session is going on. So we're going to need to comply with that rule, which means a hard stop at 2:30. Members, any questions for these testifiers? Senator Westrom? I'll remind you, we don't have much time, Senator Westrom.
Madam Chair, and I just, to the last testifier, Mone, I think part of the controversy is that this industry hasn't been regulated for all the years, and it's just recently that somebody's tried to reach out and start regulating. So how do we deregulate when it hasn't been regulated by the legislature? If you have any thoughts on that.
Madam Chair, if I...
Mr. Hurst.
Madam Chair and Senator Westrom, I think what's important to note here is that in 2009, the legislature passed what is the current special event permit. So the special event permit has been in place for 11 years, and that has been in effect and in force. And furthermore, the rules which pertain to the exemptions for motion picture and theater and fashion photography and everything, those rules were first put into place somewhere around 1980. And those were put into place because at that time you had theatrical productions coming in, you had movie industries coming in. You also had TV stations with on-air personalities for local TV shows and everything. And so they wanted the ability to hire their own subject people, experts, to do the tasks themselves. So that has always been recognized, to the best of my knowledge, by the state. And then when the rules were revamped just 3-4 years ago, which was a wholesale review of the rules because it was all put together piecemeal in the intervening years since 1980. It was to streamline everything. It was at that point that the rules were opened up, everybody commented and made their recommendations, and the rules are still basically the same as what they were in 1980, and the statute is what it was from 11 years ago pertaining to special events. So I don't
Hurst,
think...
we got to wrap it up.
I'm sorry, you're absolutely right. In essence, I would disagree that it's not been regulated. I think the statute is very clear and the rule is very clear, but common usage, as we move forward, a mobile society with different desires and everything is what's coming into conflict here.
Thank you, Mr. Hurst. I would mention here, though, if you're going to be consistent with what you're saying, then you better start doing rulemaking for Macy's and start making rulemaking for Nordstrom, because if you're going to say that is your point, then movie stars and all these other things ought to come under the same thing. Instead of exempting private persons who are doing this one-on-one privately, going to be consistent with that, then I think that has to be consistent. Right now, it is not, Mr. Hurst. And I appreciate your time. We have a hard stop. And so thank you for your testimony today.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I don't disagree with you one bit as far as those rules and how they should be applied with.
And thank you, Mr. Hurst. So Ms. Housley, Senator Housley, we're going to take action on your bill at this time, and I just want to mention here that you need to have an opportunity to make some closing remarks, but I would have to say, hearing from the testifiers here today, it points out again, this has been done through rulemaking. It has been done through rulemaking, not through a change of law in the legislative process, but has been done through rulemaking, and I think it makes the point of the previous bill as well. The legislature is that place. And so at this time, considering that we are doing the legislative process and acting on this bill to do so. So with that, Senator Curran.
Madam Chair, I'd like to request a roll call.
Roll call being requested, roll call granted. Senator Grand, would you make the motion on the bill itself then?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd like to renew my motion for Senate File 2898, recommended to pass as amended and be re-referred to Finance.
Thank you, Senator Curran. We'll take a roll call.
Senator Kiffmeyer.
Aye.
Senator Curran. Aye. Senator Carlson.
Aye.
Senator Swedzinski.
No.
Senator Howe.
Aye.
Senator Jasinski.
Aye.
Senator Lane. Senator Newman.
Yes.
Senator Rest. Yes. Senator Westrom.
There being 8 ayes and 2 nays, the bill passes and is adopted.
Thank you, Madam
You're
Chair.
on your way, Senator Housley.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
I'll see you in Finance.
I'll see you in Finance. Great.